Good afternoon. I am Venâncio Mondlane. But before I start my presentation, I'd like to direct a very special thanks, because for my country, Mozambique, this is a historic moment. What's going to happen today, because it is the first time that Mozambique has the privilege to be on this stage, this noble stage, arranged by the Human Rights Foundation. I would also like to thank especially the CEO of the foundation, and all the dedicated team that has helped me and supported me, Javier, Keita, Nicole, Mariana, Nelwin, and a beautiful lady who's interpreting here, Maria Angela. So I'd like to ask you to give them a show of hands. I'd like to say that I come from Mozambique, a middle-class family, lots of children, 9 children, 4 older brothers and 4 younger sisters. So I'm right in the middle. In math, what you call the bisectress. I've always had this tendency to protect my younger sisters and the weak and the vulnerable, because in my area, there was a lot of intimidation among the young people. So I started to practice martial arts to protect my weaker sisters and to help and protect the youth in my neighborhood. And then this desire to serve others was awakening me. So in the backyard of my parents' house, I opened a little gym in a school, open to everyone in the area. This burning desire to defend people, to protect the weak, it was something that grew inside me. And then I became a TV commentator. And I started to denounce corruption, injustices in the country. But at one point, I felt that was not enough. I was a very well-known commentator in the country, but I felt that I needed to do something more. So I stood for local elections. And then later, about 12 years ago, 2013, I come into the active political life. 2 years later, I became a representative of Parliament, National Parliament. So I used the Parliament's floor to denounce injustices, to denounce scandal after scandal by the government. And this is why, still in Parliament, I became the first and the single voice in opposition that was a member of the inquiry committee that investigated the largest financial scandal of the history of the country, which was worldwide known as the hidden debt scandal. I knew this was risky, very risky, but I was not born to be silent. So in 2024, last year, I see that a movement is growing very strong in the country, struggling for structural and definite changes in the country. So I wanted to join that movement, and I ran for the presidency of Mozambique. It was a gigantic leap, but I won the elections. So it was a landslide. It was just like a rolling force over the country. But the regime that has been installed for 50 years continued doing what they've always done: steal votes, manipulate the results, and replace truth with lies, and try to manipulate the truth. And they attacked civilians and imposed themselves by the force of arms. So this is what happened in 2024. We before that, and I must say that this is something that has happened over the last 30 years, because the regime in the country dominates both the electoral system and the justice system. So they work for the party, not for the nation. But we didn't sit still. We were preparing the challenge of the decision to the highest level of the justice system. And while we prepared our appeal, and the challenge of the decision, something very tragic happened. I was at home, sitting at the dinner table, looking at the messages in my phone, and instructing my team about my political project. And suddenly I heard shots, loud shots, gunshots, as if there were gangs shooting at each other outside. I asked my wife, "Did you hear that?" But then I didn't pay attention to that any longer. 1 hour later, though, I received a phone call, and this phone call changed completely my life. But I think also it changed the history of my country completely. In this phone call, I learned that my personal lawyer, who was also my national representative, together with a supporter of the party that supported my candidacy, were caught in an ambush in their car, and 25 shots were directed to them. They died instantly. For me, it was a shock. And it reminded me the moments when my brother died in an accident. But this was not an accident. This was a political issue, and everybody knew that. So on that day, I decided to call, 2 days later, a national strike, a national protest, not only because of Elvino or Paulo Guando, no, because of the hundreds of victims that have been silenced unjustly. And on the day that should happen, on the 21st of October, the day of the nationwide strike, they did something that's going to be recorded in the memory of all Mozambicans. This was the beginning of a highly bloody period in the country. But they came also after me. On that day, I suffered the 4th attempt against my life. I was giving an interview to national, international journalists, and we were shot, both them and myself. And then we had to flee, all of us. That day, I had to leave the country, and I was exiled for 3 months. But the people raised arms. They went to the streets. They took to the streets to manifest their anger. But they encountered an unparalleled brutality from the police. After 5 months, blood covered all the capitals in Mozambique. And the balance was enormous. 400 people were killed because they were demanding truth and dignity. 400 people were killed, of which corpses were found in mass graves. About 2,000 people were shot, and still, as I speak, carry bullets in their bodies. And when they go to a public hospital, when they are recognized among those shot, they don't receive treatment. 4,000 people today are locked up in prison as true political prisoners. My financial director, a very sweet lady with a brilliant career in the bank, spotless. Another lady was also arrested, Gloria Nobre. She's sitting in jail today. So, this is what we have. Our country is bleeding. Our country is screaming. Our country is in mourning. And I'd like to say something. I came to this point with an interesting history. I was myself a member of the Frelimo party. My father was a senior member of Frelimo. He was in charge of the largest insurance company in the country. And I saw Frelimo as something pure or immaculate, something like a spot of perfection within a world of imperfection. But as I learned more about the party, I found out that the party was destroying more than building the country. It has become a criminal organization with different criminal oligarchies. They traffic with weapons, drugs, lumber. They practice abductions, children or child prostitution, and traffic in human organs. So I lost faith in Frelimo and started to support and align myself with the most vulnerable. And there's more to that. This is not a problem exclusively of elections. No, Mozambique today is one of the richest countries in the world in terms of human resources. The northern province of Cabo Delgado is today suffering a wave of terrorism, is one of the richest provinces, counting with marine resources, graphite, gold, diamonds, gas, oil, unending resources. Of the 15 rare earths in the world, we have 9 reserves of 9 of them. But ironically, it is the most miserable and poor province in the country. So, friends, the question is, did I come to you to describe this tragedy alone? Did I come here to report the misery that affects my country? No. I also came here to say that Mozambique needs your help. Mozambique needs your help of all of you here. We need to have a country that abides by human rights, a country that's more transparent in the management of resources. We need a country that is truly democratic. We need a country that can recover the genuine principles of democracy. But we also, in private terms now, I am putting together a new political party called Anamala. We are waiting for the government's authorization of the party so that we can start functioning. But we need also your help in the creation of the party, because so far it is the single voice in Mozambique that still resists against this oppressive system that takes care of justice, the press, and the opposition parties. So this project is a project of hope. It's the Anamala Project. This is the hope we want to carry. But I know that many of you want to applaud me. But before you do that, I'd like to plead with you to this magnificent public here. I'm going to try to speak English now. And I would ask you to stand up, please, all of you. Can you stand up, all of you? Thank you very much. Thank you.
Olha, esta palavra que está escrita ali,
that you see here, Anamala,
that is written there, Anamala, is the word of a local language called Emakwa. It means in Emakwa, enough is enough. This word in my country is the word of hope. And I want you to join me to increase the hope of the Mozambican people. I will count 3. 1, 2, 3. When I say 3, I want you to shout loudly and say 3 times, Anamala, Anamala, Anamala. Let's go. 1, 2, 3. Anamala, Anamala. Anamala. Thank you. Forte abraço, beijo e tchau.
I want to embrace all of you and say goodbye.